All right, everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Burgundy Brigade podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Goff, at BRG Brigade Kevin, joined as usual by Aaron Music at Avalangelist and Callie Agnew at Callie Avs Agnew on the Twitters. How are we all doing tonight?
Doing just fine. How are you?
Yeah, great. The school year is nearing an end. I know it's done out in Colorado, but I live in Oregon, and I don't start until September. So that means I'm in school until June.
Gross.
Major gross. Callie, how are you? Happy birthday.
Thank you. Good. Still mad at you, but good.
As well you should be.
Which Twitter agreed with me, you're a total turd.
Well, I mean, you gave them two options.
Yes, and they all agreed finally. No one commented and disagreed.
True. I mean, I would also like to point out that I voted for a total turd as well.
It was like 80 to 20%, okay?
Yeah.
I'd say that's a landslide.
I'd say my sister would probably agree with this.
You ruined it, man.
It's all your fault.
It's all my fault.
It's all your fault.
Callie did not get an opportunity last time to fully remind me exactly how much this was my fault that the Avs lost to San Jose. So I'm going to grant the first however long it takes to take my lumps. So go right ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna get coffee.
So you know how superstitious I am, and you still did it. And then look at what happens. Superstitions rule, okay? And you're the one that did it, so it's all your fault. And it's just, that's what it's always going to be. That should be your new Twitter handle. It's all my fault. The Avs are done. It's all my fault. Okay. I think I'm good.
Wow, you let him off easy.
I was going to say, I was expecting a few more minutes of this.
Yeah. It's my birthday, so I'm in a good mood.
She's in a good mood. It's been a little while since, so
yeah, some wounds have healed.
Some wounds have healed.
You were probably lucky that I missed the last one.
Yeah. I was a little. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping for it. I was ready for it. I was ready for the whooping.
Well, you might hear it throughout this. The more I just get reminded of it.
I'm sure.
So.
I do not doubt it one moment. But hey, I'm a man of my word. I said I would own it, and I am.
Yes, and you will never live it down.
I will never live it down.
You total turd.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to send this one to my sister. She's gonna like you immediately.
Oh, good. I'm glad I'll have a fan.
Right on. Well, soldiering forward, then we're going to take a look at the Avs' current status with their impending free agents. We're going to kind of review the progress of each of each player, see where they stand, and decide who we might want to stick around, who we might want to go. We've had some discussion a little bit about maybe spitballing some possible trade options, some free agency as well, and then we're going to talk some draft tonight as well.
I think we should follow the Laker fans. We should trade for all the best players and get rid of the bad ones.
Ooh, what a theory.
Interesting.
It's a bold strategy, I know.
I mean, should we just... So you're saying the Avs should just go sign LeBron James?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what he could do on skates.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't promised anything like that football player.
That's true.
Which football player?
I forget who it was.
The one that said that he would be the best player in the NHL in 6 months.
Oh, Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, him.
The guy who wasn't even the best football player on the field?
Yeah, exactly. That one. I would love to see him skate in 6 months.
I would love to see him skate with Nikita Zadorov.
Yeah, seriously.
Big Z coming in.
It'd be like the middle part of Rocky IV, if you remember what happened there.
Oh, God. Just let Nathan McKinnon skate circles around him, and he'll just fall down getting dizzy watching Nate go.
I feel like you just put him on skates for about an hour, and that alone will likely be a very humbling experience.
Be like Bambi.
Yeah, exactly. What a great visual. That's so true. Excuse me. Sounded like Aaron was going to say something there. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the Avs free agency situation. The salary cap has not really the salary cap number for next season has not been established that I can find quite yet. Either of you found anything different?
No.
Not yet.
Cap Friendly still seems to have it sitting at $83 million, which was
The
pretty
number
much.
I keep hearing is it going to about 36 or 38, somewhere in that range. Sorry.
86?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I erased part of the 8, and
I was going to say, someone's in for whoa, someone's in for it. 36.
It's fine.
We fucked
Dyslexia
here,
hits us all
Minnesota.
sometimes.
Toronto's screwed. Toronto can ice Austin Matthews and John Tavares, and that is it.
So I have to say, of all the things in this offseason, my early favorite thing is the Minnesota Wild trying to trade for Phil Kessel, and Kessel going, no.
Did he shoot that down?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, no.
Yeah. Not even close.
That is
Even-
awesome.
They even said, yeah, Phil Kessel had to research the Minnesota Wild and then said no.
And the Minnesota Wild told him how good of young players they had and what a great team he'd be going to. But Jason Zucker would be the one they'd be trading away.
Yeah.
So there goes all their youth and talent.
Them talking about the young players that they would have is like John Elway saying Joe Flacco is in the prime of his career at 34.
Seriously.
I bet you Kessel looked and he was like, hey, wait, I played with Suter on Team USA at one point, didn't I?
That was 10 years ago.
It was a bit, but I did it once, didn't I?
It was a minute, yeah. Oh man, no, I do remember seeing the will Kessel end up in Minnesota talk. I definitely missed the whole Kessel saying no. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the other
it
big
won't be
one was
hard to top
Calgary.
that. That's pretty much my favorite thing right now.
Anytime Minnesota gets shot down, it's good by me. So let's take a look here. The Avs have projected about, with this $83 million number, which looks like it will go up, the Avs will have slightly more than $37 million in cap space. So bump that up a couple more, anywhere between 38 and 40 some odd million. Obviously, they're going to be signing some of their own players. Because they have a decent chunk, they have a big chunk of free agents that they've got to get taken care of. But that's a lot of money to play with. The Avalanche have a lot of freedom and definitely can make some noise. So looking at our guys, let's go RFAs first. The big one, and we can of course leave the big one for the big two for last, I guess. But Sven Andrighetto, restricted free agent.
Bye.
I think he's already signed in the KHL.
Well, there was that story. He said because that came out in the middle of the Calgary series, and he had said that there wasn't anything to that. By this point, it's quite possible it already has happened. Andrighetto obviously came in on a trade, where the Avs got him, I believe, for Andreas Martinson.
Yep.
1-for-1, and really played very, very well at the end of that particular season. But since then, never really
Backslide.
managed. Yeah, definitely big backslide. So,
Does it else kind of giggle when someone says the trade is 1-for-1, just reflexively?
just because it was for Andreas Martinson, I suppose.
Yeah, but he looks like Aladdin.
Andreas Martinson or a ghetto? I don't.
Yeah. No, Andreas Martinson.
A little
He looks
bit.
like Aladdin.
He's the most tan Norwegian I've ever seen.
You're not wrong.
100%.
So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with Callie on this one. Pretty easy to let Sven fly and be free.
Yep.
Andrew, get yourself somewhere else.
Andrew, go away.
Andrew, get out of here. Forget about it.
basically.
And he'll probably do well over in the KHL, but
Just like Yak did, but
Yeah.
the game just
Rick
doesn't
Rankin did
translate.
well in the KHL too.
Yeah.
next up we see Alexander Kerfoot. 24, second season, just finished second season with the Avs. Inconsistent, I would say, is probably a decent way to describe him. Productive, but inconsistent. His 2 seasons were almost identical. 19,
Frustrating?
Yeah, 19 goals, 24 assists in 79 games for 43 points in year 1. 78 games, year 2, 15 goals, 27 assists for 42 points. Slightly minus on both seasons. Up and down. Has some stretches, and then also has some stretches where he disappears completely. Likely to stick around, I would say.
Well, unless they put him in a package with the trade, I expect him to be back around at about 3.5, maybe 4 million at tops.
I'd hope that would be tops.
I'm
hoping 2 to 3.
With Brock Nelson getting $6 million, everything's kind of getting blown out of the water a little bit. Granted, there's a difference between UFA to RFA, but still.
Yeah, true. But of course, his agent will be pulling that. This guy signed for this amount, type of thing. Even if it is UFA, because if he's not doing that, then he's not a very good agent.
That's fair.
Yeah, we've talked about signing Alex and hopefully him going away in the expansion draft, and I'm still okay with that option.
Yeah, I think that would be one thing you're kind of hoping for with the Avs, and even so much to the point as, and again, there's still 2 years, but two seasons between now and the expansion draft. So who knows what he will do next season or the following year, but. Even so much to the point that the Avs might go out of their way to ensure that Seattle takes Kerfoot, I could see that being a possibility.
They just have too many people that they have to protect, that they have to make a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to lose a golden prospect.
Quite potentially, yeah.
Yeah, you're probably at least currently looking at losing a defenseman.
Which, yes, I believe you're both right on that. Oh, bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Kerfoot
Thank you.
is arbitration eligible. I'm curious. I don't know that this is one that goes to arbitration. I could see it really depends on how Kerfoot values himself on that.
Is he sharing Ryan O'Reilly's agent?
Yeah.
Don't know. Don't know, but
Because I might end up in arbitration.
Every once in a while, that's my lovely wife who's sitting next to me crocheting.
Hi.
Hi.
yeah, I think Kerfoot probably sticks around.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
And they kind of as inconsistent as he has been, they do kind of need him at this point.
Yeah. Till he's replaced.
Until such time.
Until you have a better option, keep the option around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vladislav Kamenev is an
Keep him.
RFA this year. He's got to be a keeper, you'd assume.
And hope he plays a full season?
Yeah. The thing that I would imagine would be the issue, or the question, I suppose, not so much the issue with the Avs on him, is do you give him more than 1 year?
No.
Or you just say, here's 1 year, let's see if you can not break.
Yeah.
I would do 2, but it'd either be 1 year one way or 2 years two way.
I mean, I don't know that you could get. I don't know that he would necessarily take anything other than one way. Personally, on that, just because he was having a good season to the point when he got hurt, showing that he did belong. He was earning trust, getting more ice time. He was on the second power play unit, was killing penalties, was showing some good value. I mean, I'm kind of with Callie on this. I think really it's more about him showing that he can be durable enough to not get hurt again.
Can we get him some milk or something?
Seriously. Do they not have milk in Russia?
Just put him on.
Veggies? I don't know.
Put him on the diet that The Rock is on.
He just comes in like, oh, man.
Could you imagine if he put on like even 20 pounds at this point? Like, he's so skinny.
How skinny is he?
Yeah.
So skinny.
6'2", 194. So, I mean, he's still growing into his frame.
Yeah, him in person, he looks super duper skinny. Like a beanpole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a big thing for him for sure. I mean, and that's as young as he has been, but where he's getting to the point where that's no longer like, you're 22 now. You're a man. You're a grown up dude. Time to
act like it.
Look like one.
Yeah. Here's a sandwich. Don't stop eating until I tell you to.
Exactly.
I don't care. I'll go in the kitchen and make it. I don't care.
A happy meal? No, a kid. No, no cheeseburger. No, you'll get nothing and like it.
Well, I mean, Russia might be used to that.
Very true. I mean, one place where Kamenev was showing his value was he was doing very well in the face-off circle.
Have one. It'd be nice to have a center who wins face-offs.
It would be nice.
It was weird. We were winning them in the playoffs.
Yeah. Specifically, there were two players who started doing it. One, Jimothy, and Nathan McKinnon actually started doing it too.
It was really weird, like looking up at the Jumbotron and seeing us winning face-offs. I was like, what are you doing?
It was weird looking down at the ice and seeing them win face-offs.
I mean, that too, but just the sheer number.
Yeah. Percentage-wise. Yeah, it's nice with McKinnon, too, because he's out there so often. He's got to, like...
And he was horrible all season.
Mm-hmm.
Focus with him. Sometimes he's just... He slacks off on his focus sometimes, and you just like to shake him and say, pay attention!
Yeah. Because when he's engaged, man, it's hard to do anything better than him when he's engaged and locked in.
Sometimes it's hard because he'll like lose that in the middle of a game and you're like, what are you doing? But he's so freaking good that you're like, I mean, it's fine, but what are you doing?
Yeah, would you pick a side? Pick one. Pick one.
No. Nathan frustrates me. Is that the side?
The best way. He can be frustrating in the best way.
He definitely can. I mean, it's weird though because he can be that not engaged guy but still put up a couple points a night.
Yes.
So he kind of gets away with it from time to time.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he just goes Super Saiyan and you're like, where was this?
Yeah.
Can we just get like a consistent basis of focus?
You don't have to make it bloody interesting all the frickin' time.
It's all right if you just go ahead and bury the other guys from time to time. That's cool. We'll be okay with that.
This is the playground. You don't have to be fair.
It's all right to be better.
I feel like someone needs to tell Miko and Gabe that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there completely.
Yeah. Because sometimes I watch them and I'm like, come on, you've got so much more.
Yeah.
Landeskog doesn't skimp on the defensive side, ever.
No, that's true.
No, he's our best two-way forward.
Mm-hmm. He should honestly be in the Selkie conversation.
One day.
He's running out of time on that.
One day.
I mean, they don't really consider wings anymore for that, even though Gabe takes plenty of face-offs. They don't
really consider defensemen for the Norris. So
fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see here. Let's get back on track. Someone I'm sure Callie will have some questions about. JT Compher.
I'll let you go first.
9 years, $11 billion.
Yeah.
Yes. Go be Joe Sakic's advisor right now.
Let's see. I mean, I don't know if Callie yelled at me enough, so maybe I should make her mad again.
Oh.
No, JT. I mean, obviously, come on. Comfort's got. He's been showing good progress. You'd like to see him not injured. And granted, most of the injury came from Sam Bennett being a douchebag early in the season.
16 games.
But, you know, there's not much you can do there. But he did show progress. Scored more goals in fewer games this year, has more points in fewer games this year. Plus minus was considerably better this year. You don't usually look too much at plus minus as too much of a telling scale, but when it's a difference of 21 over the course of one season, that means something. I think that definitely means something. So he showed again good value in the playoffs. Had scored some big goals in big times. He's obviously going to stick around for a while. The big question will be, what do you give him? Because I don't know that teams are too into the whole mid to bottom six player long-term deal.
Yeah, I think he'll get a bridge to prove himself because he's had one season where he stepped up his game, but he needs to have that consistent second season as well to show that he is a different player and he isn't going to have a backslide before he actually gets a better contract.
Yeah, and and part of that happened this year too because he was given more responsibility. He was one of the few guys that saw a lot of time on both the power play and the penalty kill. The team clearly values him, clearly likes what he does. When they were shifting guys around, he was one that frequently saw time with some of the more skilled guys, and was out late in games a lot. They like him. It's the proof is in the pudding. They definitely value Comfer and what he brings, and they absolutely should.
Yep. I think it'll be interesting to see what his value of his game is and kind of where he wants to be.
Yeah.
As far as his contract and if it goes to arbitration or not. I hope not.
I have him locked in as the third line center for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we're friends.
Just you can move him up into the top six for stretches. You can play him on the power play, but his value is going to be third line shutdown role, pesky type player who's also going to create some chances on the offensive zone.
Kill penalties.
Which is what you saw against the Flames.
Yep.
I mean,
specifically.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but that's what you had with Ryan O'Reilly.
Yep.
Okay, a lot of Avs fans are hating on Ryan O'Reilly, but I can't because he's the reason we have JT.
Hate the player, don't hate the game.
Yeah, no, I can't hate Ryan O'Reilly because that's why we have JT, so.
All right, Will Smith.
I can't do it. It's my logic.
No, it makes plenty of sense. I mean, yeah. Comfer's going to be an Av for a good long while.
You hope.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time they trade a number 37 or a player who was 37 or is 37, it doesn't go well.
Very true. Very true.
Didn't go well with Chris Drury. Didn't go well with Ryan O'Reilly, even though that trade's nice. But still.
Yep.
Yeah,
when you have a 37 center, you keep him around.
Just keep him.
Yeah. Yeah, go tell Joe that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have to worry too much about Joe on that one.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
All right. Mikko Rantanen.
Oh, he sucks. Trade him.
Yeah, get rid of that goon. What a noob.
He's a bum.
Just barely got over a point per game player. I'm sorry. We're from Toronto. We don't sign anyone unless they're a healthy 90 points or higher.
Oh, man.
And I mean, it's all because of Nathan McKinnon. Like,
clearly. 100%.
Mikko's not a good player.
Let's just sign our baby giraffe to 8 years and 9.6 per year.
And a pony!
And a pony. EJ, get that pony. We know you're in with the horses.
I just really want him to have a pony. He could name it Gabe.
He could.
Because EJ has Landeskog, so...
There you go. See, this is like the perfect circle of life.
I did not know that. This is trivia I'm learning.
Yeah, Eric Johnson has a horse named Landeskog.
Wow.
Which still makes me laugh.
Take that horse to the country forest.
He's got some pretty good names on some of his horses. Another one's like wife approved or something.
Oh, man. EJ's an interesting cat. We definitely will need to talk about him at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the big question with Mikko is dollar. I mean, it's the two big things. Is he going to get long term? Are they going to try to do some kind of a bridge thing? There really is we don't know what the cards are holding for that, because everybody has been very tight-lipped. Obviously, Mikko didn't even want to talk contract during this season. Mm-hmm. Just went out and produced and made himself what's going to be a lot of money for sure. It would probably be in the Avs' best interest to get a good 8-year deal signed at this point. Don't know if Mikko's in for that or not. I mean, all of this whole thing is going to play out over a long time, unfortunately. And of course, we're going to hear the Twitter go on and on about how, why can't Joe Sakic just get Mikko signed? Mm-hmm. Fire Joe Sakic, he's terrible. Right? Mm-hmm. Get ready for that.
You do it.
What's that?
If the job's so easy, you do it.
For real.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that actually not right?
Armchair quarterbacking is always easier.
Yes, exactly. I will just go on NHL 19 and sign him for what I can get there, and that's what Joe should sign him for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call Mikko and show it to him so he knows his value.
Exactly. He will know because NHL 19 said so.
It's like me sitting on my couch going, why did you throw it to this wide receiver? God, you're so fucking dumb. Why?
Oh, God.
Yeah, stick me in front of J.J. Watt. I will just be absolutely frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Probably pee your pants, too. That is a big man.
That is a big man. Yes, it is.
It's a slightly more credible Hulk.
Yeah.
A slightly more credible Hulk. I see what you did there.
Yep.
Oh, man. So, ideally for you, what's your ideal number for Mikko here?
I'd like to get him at 8.
What's your realistic number?
9.6.
Because it's cheeky?
Yes.
I don't know. Players have this thing where they like having their number in their contract.
Sidney Crosby did it. Worked well for him. He won a Stanley Cup doing it.
Didn't Austin Matthews just sign, his whole thing was $11.34 million?
I missed that.
I want to say I heard that on the Elliot Friedman's 31 Thoughts podcast.
I think you're right.
Where somehow they love putting their own numbers in there, and it's just like, we get it. That's your number. Okay.
Do you have to do that?
Yes.
Is this
yes, they do.
All we're going to do today?
So then maybe JT will get $3.7 million.
Whoa.
Does that mean Ladislav Kamenev wants 9.1?
No, I think just think he wants 910,000.
Yeah.
Or 9.1 over 5 years.
Yeah.
A grand total of 9.1, so the cap hits like less than 2. Yay, math. Callie, what about you? What's your ideal number for Mikko?
Oh, God. It's hard because Like, we got Nate so cheap. So my unrealistic brain is like, let's get Miko as cheap as we can. But my realistic brain is like, Miko's going to make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say probably that 8-9 mark.
Yep.
Depending on term too.
Yeah. Do you think he goes the full 8 years, or? I think. Go ahead.
I think Joe really likes long-term deals, and I think he really pushes them if he knows that the player's good. Like, he signed Gabe to a long-term deal, he signed Mac to a long-term deal, he signed EJ to a long-term deal, all of those guys. So I think he really does like the long-term deals. So I think it just depends on Miko at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I think he also realizes if you do a long-term thing, it saves over the lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody looks at Mac's contract and goes, "Oh my God, what a friggin' steal!" And obviously it is. But again, at the time when he signed it, he hadn't taken that step into using Aaron's
stardom.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say Super Saiyan land, because he hadn't done that quite yet and just exploded. The potential was still there, but he hadn't done it yet. But now, of course, now we look back and go, "Oh, 6.3 for 99 points a year, hell yeah!" And that's, of course, the question.
How many of us losers were going, "That's so stupid to do that. Why did you sign McKinnon to that? He hasn't proven anything." And that is why we're on our couch and Joe Sakic's in an office.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Miko's got to ask himself that question. He's shown more at this point than McKinnon did at this point in his career.
Yeah.
After the first contract. Is that going to continue out? I mean, not to say, obviously, that this is a bad place to be, but is Miko going to cap out at this 87 to 90 point player? Is there still room for growth? I mean, what a ridiculous question to ask, but
but we're going to ask it anyway.
But we're going to ask it anyways, right? Can he continue?
Yes.
Can he continue to bet on himself? Is the big question. So if he continues to bet on himself, is it going to be 2 to 3 years, or is he going to say, you know what, I like this team, I want to be here for a long time, no matter what. I'm still going to get a ridiculous amount of money. Give me the 8 years, and I'll take $9 million when I could be doing $12 million in 3 years. Who knows? My ideal is pretty much right about where Aaron is that 8 year. Sure, $9.6 million. Why not? Why not? Why not? But no, there's no question. Miko's got to be here for a long time.
I mean, I think for the players too, they also have to look at, well, my career could end at any point.
Yeah.
How much money can I get guaranteed for a long time?
Of course.
Which is another consideration for a long-term deal. And if Joe could sell that properly and in a classy way, maybe he could get Miko to a long deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's entirely possible.
So, I don't know. Just a thought on long deals.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. That's if Joe's not doing that, then Joe's not doing his job.
Yeah. Touche.
Let's see here. Ryan Graves is our next RFA. Came over in a trade from the New York Rangers for Chris Bigras. Graves was a pretty nice story this year for the Avs. Not sure what
Patrick Nemeth.
Was that?
He's the new Patrick Nemeth.
He's the new Patrick. Yeah, there you go.
Reliable, steady.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't do anything fancy.
A bit more of an offensive upside than Nemeth gives you.
But he's still probably going to be scratched for most games.
Yes,
absolutely. He's the ideal seventh defenseman.
He is that was going to be the next thing I was going to say, was he would be an excellent seventh defenseman.
Yeah. Perfect
to slot in there based off of the pretty stacked top six that the Avs have.
Yeah.
Which, how nice is that to be able to...
They also have Mark Barberio to one more year,
yes,
too,
they do.
So you would have to balance those two.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd just try to move. I know this is easier said than done, but I'd just try to move Mark Barberio to a team that really needs a sixth defenseman who's not all that expensive.
Mm-hmm. You could consider trying to bury Barbario's contract and send him down to the AHL. I don't know that he would necessarily make it through waivers because you're going to have that team, just like you said, Aaron, that needs some sort of depth on the defensive end, and he likely gets snagged in that. So,
and then you get nothing.
And then you get nothing. Exactly.
You save on the cap. That's something.
That is something for sure. And
you're going to play numbers game.
I mean, and what are you going to get too much for him anyways? You're probably looking at the highest of 5th round draft pick.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah, it is something. I'd rather get something than nothing. I completely agree. But yeah, Graves, he'll probably stick around, I think. He's arbitration eligible. Can't really see that going to arbitration.
Yeah, no.
The next one, however, I can almost guarantee we'll see some sort of arbitration. Nikita Zadorov.
Oh, God. Didn't he already do arbitration?
Yes. He went RFA and they went all the way to September, but no arbitration.
Yeah, there was no arbitration. He was just a very late signing.
Okay, gotcha.
And I think that was 2 seasons ago. I don't believe he was even arbitration eligible that time.
No.
But this time, yeah, Zad. What I mean, I am not the type who wants to get rid of Zadorov. I completely accept and see the shortcomings that he has. But again, you just look at what he managed to do in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This year, and you cannot look at that guy and go, he does not have enough value to be on this team.
He feels like a defenseman who just, for about the first 3 months of the season, he doesn't care because the things that he really wants to do, he'll get a penalty for.
Yeah.
And then the playoffs come and goes, surprise.
Yeah, another guy who we talked about it with McKinnon, but when Zadorov is engaged and focused, like he probably could be a top pair defenseman. He's that engaged. He's just that engaged and ready to go on all assets, on all levels. He moves the puck better. He makes better decisions, and he annihilates people.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is he's a young defenseman, and it always takes defensemen a little bit longer to develop.
Mm-hmm.
So if you stick with him, maybe he will develop into that guy that you need that's constantly engaged and playing his type of game and not taking the unnecessary, ridiculous penalties, but taking the needed penalties. Because he's going to still take penalties.
Sure.
He's going to take the I'm bigger than you penalties.
Yeah, and a lot of that is not even his fault. It's just like you said, Aaron. A lot of that is that he's just bigger, and therefore it looks like it's a bad hit.
Yeah.
But really,
totally.
he's just bigger and stronger than the other guy.
The ant ref is calling a penalty on my shoe all the time for squashing ants.
Yeah.
It doesn't my shoe's fault.
Exactly. But, man, the way we talked about it after the Calgary series. He erased Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Matthew Tkachuk had a good game one, and then nothing.
He was like, that's enough.
Yeah.
He just speared his face on the boards and just skated down and pressed it.
Mm-hmm. He made it his mission to make life miserable for that guy.
Tkachuk was the first player to get road rash in an NHL hockey series.
And then he did the same thing to Evander Kane.
Yep.
Evander Kane had a good first game, and then nothing. Zadorov ate him alive.
And Evander Kane's the guy that's going to be all sensitive and try and fight everybody, but then he turns and sees it Zadorov, and he's like, "Oh God, sorry, man, sorry, I got in your way."
Yeah. Which is interesting because he went with Ryan Reeves, who's like the biggest fighter still left in the league.
Yeah.
But he didn't want anything to do with Zad.
Not even close.
So the big one with this is where does the team value him? What does the team offer him based off of the inconsistencies that definitely exist? Where does Zadorov value himself? What's the money that he's going to want? Is he going to ask for some sort of hired pairing type of deal? Where you're thinking, is he going to ask for $5 million or more? I just feel like this one's got arbitration written all over it.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know what you could do with Zadorov, and it's interesting. I didn't think about it until just this moment. Sign him to a 2-year contract. And I believe after 2 years he would be unrestricted. I'm not sure about that.
I believe you're
and
right.
So that would lead you to keeping him, quote unquote, exposed for the expansion draft in the hopes that the team would not be able to sign him or wouldn't be able to get there and they wouldn't take him, and you got to keep him.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Definitely an interesting thought.
Because man, what do you do with him? Do you give him 5 years? Do you give him or less? Certainly you don't go 8 for this. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Zad.
Well, I think a lot of his
has-
arguing points too is like he's played with Tyson Barrie so much this year, and he can be like, "Well, look what Barrie did. Like, I'm a great defensive partner if he can do all of these things, and I can still have his back." And blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and those two do work fantastically together.
Oh yes, they absolutely do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like there are going to be two hinges. It's going to be, and they're going to have to come to the middle. The Avs will want more years at less money, and Zadorov is going to want less years at more money. And so they'll have to come into the middle about 3 years, $4.5 million per year. That'd be my guess.
Yeah. It's a little more than I would like to give him, but I think, especially based off of the playoffs he had, I think that's probably a decent expectation of where that will end up.
Because it's really hard to find a comparable for him, because he doesn't put up the points, but he plays really physical, and his skating is right up there with the fastest guys on the team.
Yeah. You really it's the only, like, one of the biggest unfortunate things with him is that his offensive game didn't translate from junior, because he was like you said, his skating is very good. He's plenty capable of scoring. That part just hasn't come with him, unfortunately.
And sometimes I feel like he thinks, oh yeah, and he takes the puck, goes up there, creates an offensive chance, and it's incredible. You're like, where was this? Where did this come from? And then he just goes and keeps handing it to Tyson Barrie the rest of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, when your defensive partner is Tyson Barrie and he's setting franchise records and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to justify not giving him the puck sometimes too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just kind of interesting that hasn't, like, resulted in some of those secondary assist numbers that would come up with being around Tyson Barrie, whereas Zad's probably the one who's mostly giving Barrie the setup for his one-timer. It's just weird. Obviously, I want to see Zad stick around. The numbers are going to be interesting. I think 3 years. Arian, I think you had a great number. 3 years, 4.5. I think that would be ideal if you can lock that in.
And I think the one number he and his agent have really going for them is the Avalanche record with him out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Versus him in it. It's pretty stark.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's jump to the UFAs here. Or I guess there's one other interesting RFA to talk about, and that's AJ Greer.
Sign him, put him on the roster. God,
Seriously, just do it.
just let him be a fourth liner / 13th forward. He will be good for it.
Let him
There's
take
no more
Borg's
developing
spot.
he has to do. He's either ready for the NHL or he isn't, and I feel like he is. I feel like his last stint, he proved that he's ready.
I agree. At some point, you got to let him show it one way or the other. And I am not.
Kick the baby bird out of the nest.
Exactly. At some point, if there's one thing I have not been a fan of with Bednar and Sakic this year, it's the way they've handled AJ Greer. It just has not made sense to me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So if our gripes are with the fourth line forward, we're doing pretty well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. UFAs. Let's start goaltending. Semyon Varlamov seems to be on his way out. The Avs recently signed Pavel Francouz to another year. Likely to be the backup for Grubauer. Varley. I mean, what else can you say about him? He did absolutely everything he could during some pretty horrible years with the Avalanche. And unfortunately, it didn't end up working out in the long run. He is easily the second best goaltender in the franchise history. I mean, it's too bad that the Avs didn't have a decent enough team in front of him when he was at his best.
And that he couldn't stay healthy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if he was less injury prone, they would be more likely to give him another shot. But with all of his injury history and everything else, it just...
And I think he just needs to find another place where...
Yeah.
I've heard people mention him in Calgary, a place where he could fight for a starting gig.
You could absolutely see that. Philly
Fresh
seemed
start.
like it. Yeah, fresh start. Philly seemed like it might have been a good spot until Carter Hart decided that he was brilliant.
Yeah, don't overlook Columbus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That
Yeah.
could be one too. People were throwing around Ottawa for a little while as well.
I don't know that he wants to go to that tire fire.
I couldn't blame him for sure. I think mostly people mostly came around when suddenly it was Patrick Waugh in the headline as being a potential coach in Ottawa, which easily and quickly did not happen. Good decision by Ottawa on that one.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wouldn't make sense for Varley to go there.
No.
Yeah. Varlamov wants to compete for a starting gig. He doesn't want to be handed one because Ottawa's other option is a parrot on a stick. I mean, seriously,
Polly, stop the puck.
Finished raiding the zoo at this point.
Yeah, Craig Anderson.
They should sign that third goalie that Chicago had, the emergency goalie.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and he's an accountant. Melnick,
they should sign him.
That
He
is
could totally
perfect.
do their books too.
Melnick's dream right there.
Accountant by day, somewhat good goaltender by night. One paycheck.
Oh man.
He would stack his own paycheck though.
Man. Patrick Nemeth, UFA.
I love him. I wouldn't be opposed to keeping him around if they were to, say, move Tyson Barrie. However, I just don't see that happening, and I can see a team that really wants a top four defenseman and thinks, oh, we're going to sign this guy. He was pretty good top six. So he's going to probably go elsewhere.
Yeah, he's one that...
I wish we would have had him signed to Barbario's contract and Barbario signed to Nemeth's contract.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just flip those two.
Would have been nice. Would have been nice. Nemo. That's his nickname.
Nemo is Nomo.
Nemo certainly seems like one of those guys who's bound to be slightly overpaid during unrestricted free agency to go... Because, yeah, he was very solid for a third pair guy. Did very well for the Avs in the role he was given. He's 27. Someone's going to want him. Someone's going to pay for him. So,
Cale McCarr said, no, it's my turn.
Yep.
And Nemo just got bumped out.
So someone else will have to go find Nemo.
Sad.
Oh. Maybe the Marlins will. I need a joke.
Well done.
I was going to go with shark bait. Ooh ha ha.
That is what his nickname will be now. Shark bait. Hoo-ha.
Shark bait. Ooh ha ha.
Gabriel Bork.
Bye.
I I get this feeling they're actually going to re-sign him.
I know. I'm a little saddened by that.
Now I'm mad at you and Kevin.
Well, I didn't say I would like it. I just...
See, and to me, I think that he's going to be gone and AJ's going to replace him. I think that's the spot that AJ's got.
That would make the most sense, 100%.
I'm definitely okay with that.
I mean, just with the treatment of Greer this past season, I just don't have any confidence that that's what's going to happen. Bless you again.
Thank you.
Even if it isn't Bork, I could see them going out and getting someone in free agency to fill that role just in case. But then because he's more of a veteran guy, end up kind of giving Greer the shaft again.
Well, if you're not going to give Greer a spot on your team, give him a spot on someone else's.
I would agree. I'd completely agree. I think it makes the most sense to let Bork go, but of course, Bednar kind of had a soft spot for him.
Well, and I think really strong, was part of that second penalty killing unit that had a really good playoff.
It also had a really, really terrible stretch in the regular season, but so did everybody, I guess.
I think even if it's not Bork for Greer 1-1, you could open that position up to a kid that's trying to make it in the NHL, because if they don't see any openings on this team, that is so deflating.
Agreed.
Like, you have to have something, because if it's not Greer, then it's Toninato, or it's
Logan O'Connor,
or Martin Kaut trying to weasel his way on up the lineup. You know, it's any of those guys that have dreams of being in the NHL and are still young kids. Let someone have that opportunity.
Yeah. That is certainly something that the Avs have not had a great history in, the whole finding a way to work your young kids in and giving them that shot. For a long time, it was the young kids that would come in were the ones that they were taking at the top of the draft because they were so bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they had no other choice. They had to put Gabe Landeskog in. They had to put Matt Duchene in. They had to put Nathan McKinnon in.
The other one they didn't have to do was Ryan O'Reilly, and he just kind of went, well, I'm here.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a shocker for sure.
I'm with you, though. Let Bork walk and let one of the younger guys kind of earn it.
I agree as well. I could see them bringing him back.
I don't disagree. I could see that, too. I don't want it to happen, though.
No.
Pretty easy choice here, I think. Derek Brassard.
I love Derek. But goodbye.
Yeah, had a pretty auspicious beginning, scoring in his first goal as an Avalanche member. Scoring a goal in his first game as an Avalanche member. But, yeah, just, again, couldn't really find the consistency. Didn't really fit. Seems to have kind of lost his game in the NHL.
Yeah, he said
he's 10 years.
He said he's focusing on getting back to skating a little bit more.
Yeah.
The only way I can see them bringing him back is if he's dirt cheap, and they've moved on from Carl Soderberg.
Yeah, which likely won't happen, I would say.
That's the only way that I can see it happening, and I can actually see that happening.
Yeah. Sure. All right. With Brassard going, however, the Avalanche will net another 6th-round pick in next year's draft. That was a conditional part of the trade with Florida. Then the last guy who's pretty interesting, very interesting, is Colin Wilson. We kind of talked about him a little bit last. We kind of talked about him a little bit, but most of us, I think, felt going into the playoffs, this was definitely going to be a guy that ended the season, Godspeed and may fortune be ever in your favor. But
may the odds be forever in your favor.
Wilson had himself quite a decent playoff.
And there were 3 players that really elevated their game beyond the top line. Wilson, Calvert, and Nieto.
Yeah.
2 of those are obviously coming back.
Yes,
But
under contract.
But Wilson, it'll have to be after the first wave of free agency, and it'll have to be the Avs have gone out and they've signed. I still expect they're going to make one splash, and then they realize, okay, we still have room for a bottom 6 forward who can play a variety of roles, accepts his role. He comes pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think it, like you said, depends on after the first wave and if they sign anyone / how many they sign, what they do.
If he even makes it past the first wave. Because, again, good playoffs get guys overpaid in silly ways.
Yeah, Devontae Smith-Pelly will tell you that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back, and I wouldn't be too hurt to see him leave.
I agree. I think he's kind of the one that you kind of hope that Martin Kaut eventually comes and takes his position.
Yeah.
Bingo.
You hope, because Kaut, of course, will be the younger, higher ceiling skill-wise, should be able to do all the things he does just at a higher level.
And him and Frankie have an epic bromance.
And this
So
must
if
continue.
Frankie's our backup, it has to stay together.
There's so many
And
bromances
Powder
on
needs
this
a
team.
translator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many bromances on this team.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the Frankie Cowder one, though.
I have not.
Oh, my God. It's so real. It's like really close to rivaling JT and Josie.
Man.
Yeah. It's real.
The 2 Czech guys.
Yeah.
I'll have to
It
check
is
it out.
funny.
You have to check it out.
Because
Oh,
Frankie totally does translate for Cowder.
So that's, I really, the ones that I definitely see coming back are all the RFAs, maybe Gork, maybe Wilson.
Yep. I think all the RFAs except for Ghetto.
Oh, yeah.
And
I don't even know that they'll qualify him.
I don't think they will either. I think he's as good. He's pretty much as good as gone.
Yeah.
And I think that'll leave the Avs probably about $15 million in cap space once that's all said and done.
Still a lots to play with.
Yes.
Lots and lots to play with. Aaron, you had an interesting idea for coming in here. We got 3 moves moving forward here. One limit to 3 moves: 1 draft, 1 trade, 1 signing.
Yep.
What would we do?
I've kind of put a lot of thought into this one, so I'm going to let you guys go first.
Oh, okay. You want to be the end here. All right, fine.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Let me pull that back up. I accidentally exited out. One draft, 1 trade, 1 sign.
Yep.
Trade, honestly, I don't know that I would do anything super big. If there's a trade, like if there's a trade that happens for Tyson Barrie, it would have to be big. And I'm not talking like huge package. I'm talking like kind of a straight up 1-for-1 Tyson Barrie for damn good forward.
Insert name here.
And I mean, the one that I always dream about straight up is Tyson Barrie for Leon Draisaitl.
Okay, that I would do. The other trade I've thought about is Barrie for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Darnell Nurse, and the Avs go from 16 to 8.
Ooh, wow, that's a big move. That's a big favorable move for the Avs there.
I mean, it's a 60-point defenseman who's 27 years old.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
And it's Joe Sakic.
One draft, man. I'm very torn on a lot of the people in the draft. I like a lot of them. One like at 4.
Yep.
Okay, well that makes it easier, I guess.
Does it though?
Yeah, for me, yeah. If I get my choice at 4, probably Bowen Byram. And one signing. I mean, I guess I'm first, so I can just go ahead and say Artemi Panarin.
You jerk!
I'll take the low-hanging fruit.
I'm not above this.
Well, it sounds like Aaron's going to is making himself last. So, Callie, you're up.
Okay. God, trade. I don't even know who I would trade at this point. I'm going to be honest. God, I don't know.
Honestly, I'm with you. The only my Barry one is very pie in the sky because I don't think Edmonton does it. The only other thing I could think of is moving Barbario just to get him out of the way.
Yeah, I'll take that low-hanging fruit.
You could also trade for a player.
Who would I even trade for? Who do I like enough to be on our team? And what would I have to give up to get them?
I have a smart-ass response that I'm not going to give, so... Yeah.
Oh, God. God, I don't even know. I'll just go with the Barbs trade because I don't know what else to do.
Works for me.
Yeah, that's my trade. My draft, just for personal reasons, I want Bowen Byram. Since I did my first interview ever with him, I think that would be cool. And then,
by the way.
Thank you. It doesn't sound very good, but thank you.
No, it was great. You did a great job.
Yeah. And that was about it. Yeah.
There are a few other words between the ums and the uhs, but
not many.
I thought you did great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. AJ was great in helping me with that. So, but I think, let's see. So, trade, draft, signing. I think Jeff Skinner would be an interesting one, just with his skating ability and puck movement and all that kind of stuff. And also, we like saving people from Buffalo. So, get out of Buffalo.
Get out of Buffalo free card.
Yeah, get out of Buffalo free. We saved Nikita and JT.
We also like sending people we don't like there to rot until they get traded.
Yeah, until they leave as well. You could say we did the same thing with Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's
could.
Ottawa?
Torturing
Buffalo
people.
Canada.
All right, Aaron, wow us.
So, the draft, I do Bowen Byram. He's the best defenseman, and I like the idea of locking up my defensive core around Makar, Girard, Byram, Zadorov. Those four for the next 10 years. Oh, that's great. There's a lot of teams that would kill for that amount of defensive
Muy
help.
bueno. Muy bueno.
Trade. I send Alexander Kerfoot and a couple other things to Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay really wants to sign Erik Karlsson. So
salary dump.
Yep, and I get JT Miller back. I also get Cedric Paquette in the deal. But JT Miller, he's a second-line forward, makes $5.5 million per year. Really good player, really complete player. So that would provide me one top 6 forward, and then I sign Jeff Skinner as well. And there's the Landeskog connection. I just don't think Panarin's reasonable. I don't think the Avs are actually in. I don't think they're going to draw enough interest from him to get him to come here. Because I think it's less about finding a place to really win versus he wants to be the star on a team. I think he wants to be the guy.
Yeah.
And specifically the guy in a warmer climate.
Yeah, he wants to live on a beach. We don't really have a lot of those.
No, that's true.
I mean, wait 20 years, maybe we will. But
just blindfold him and stick him on one of our little reservoirs.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Look, you have a beach.
You're 2 hours to Los Angeles. Come on. But I just don't see it serious enough, and I actually don't. I don't know how committed Panarin is to a 200-foot game. That makes me wonder.
That's fair. Honest question here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
And with all that wondering there's the natural connection with Landeskog. It's a natural fit. Skinner could play with McKinnon and Rantanen. He could play with Jost and Landeskog. He could play with Jost and Miller. It gives you an actual top 6 that you can load up. I'm buying that what we saw from Jost in the playoffs is the real deal. And
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm just helping Tampa Bay sign Erik Karlsson. And in doing so, I get a top 6 player who's really going to help me. And I also snag a 4th-line center who's going to own the faceoff circle.
Honest question.
Yes.
Would anybody consider re-signing Matt Duchene?
To trade him away for a first-round pick.
I would sign Duchene and then send him to Edmonton.
Wow, you guys don't like Matt Duchene.
He is good at some things that would be okay. Like, he would be good at face-offs. He's good at face-offs when he puts up points. Okay, there's the end of the list. And there's just too much that I worry is left over. That
history.
They can coexist in the same spot from time to time. Like they'll be friendly outside of work, but they can never work together. It's like living with your friend and you find out you're not compatible as roommates.
Yeah.
So you move out into different places. You still remain friends, but you know you can never live together again.
If you're lucky, you still remain friends.
That's how I feel about Duchene and Landeskog and EJ. And I feel like there's still a lot of, this guy quit on us during the 48-point season. He wasn't committed.
You took away his name.
And when it comes to that, you can't put that back in your locker room. When you sign, especially if you're going to sign someone, if you're going to commit $8 million, possibly $8.5 million, making the guy possibly your highest paid player, they have to fit into your culture. They have to fit into the locker room. It's not a big enough signing. You're not in the place where you're trying to get a guy to define your culture. You've already got your culture with Landeskog, with McKinnon, with Bednar, with Sakic, with Chris McFarland. They set the culture that's 100% skating based, hardworking, and there's a good bit of merit based reward with this system.
I mean, to be fair, Duchene now does fit the used to play for Columbus necessity.
Yeah, so does Ryan Zingle, and I would rather have him. I
was just curious. Because, I mean, what the biggest thing the Avs need is a 2C, and Matt Duchene is a pretty strong option as a 2C.
With a lot of baggage.
With a lot of baggage, no doubt.
Well, and here's the thing. The Avs have Tyson Jost, Shane Bowers, JT Comfort, possibly Alex Turcotte, possibly Alex Newhook could be at the 16. They could get a center there. So you've signed a guy for, I don't think Duchene's entering his 28th season.
I think so.
So I don't know that he would sign anything shorter than 5 years.
Yeah, no,
that's 5 years of you having a guy that's going to block the development of your prospects. That's actually not healthy for your organization.
Fair. Just was curious what y'all thought. Just curious. So yeah, get him and then trade him to Edmonton for another first round pick. Sounds like a plan. Let's talk a little bit of draft. We're running pretty long, but I think we got a decent amount of we can still chat draft here. Now, it seems that we're all pretty much in agreement on our fourth pick. We all prefer Bowen Byram.
As long as he's there, yes.
Now, go ahead.
I wouldn't be miffed if Alex Turcotte is there, though.
That's, of course, the big next question is the big wonder is, what is Chicago going to do? Is Chicago going to take Byram? Are they going to go forward? If so, which forward is it? That they take? Do they take Turcotte, or do they go ham on all this and figure and take Doc or one of the other high rated forwards? Even Cole Caulfield, maybe Cousins, or I mean, there's a lot of names that could end up in that spot. So if the Avs don't have a shot at Byram, is it Turcotte then that you go for?
I think it's one of those two.
I go Turcotte the entire way. 200-foot game. He really relishes the defensive work that comes along with that. And like, I pulled a quote from The Athletic where he talked about, I really like playing the 200-foot game and being the guy that will do something being the guy that will do this thing that will get you the win that the other guy won't. And I said, okay, Jared Bednar just swooned here.
Yeah.
Turcotte is the clear. At least I have the first tier is Hughes and Kapikako.
Obviously.
And then after that, I have a second tier that's Byram and Turcotte. They're really complete players. They won't have the high end that the top two do, but they will be solid, consistent, guaranteed NHL players. And I put the caveat that you take 2 years to develop them.
Yeah.
Just don't even. You're at the place where you have enough depth that you don't have to push them through. And then after that, Cousins, he has some knocks on his consistency. Like, sometimes he takes shifts off, sometimes he even takes games off. People wonder about how consistent he is as a player. Kirby Dach has worries about his skating. Cole Caulfield is a little small, despite the fact of him having the best shot in the entire draft.
Yeah, he's a little guy. He's a very little guy. He's like 5'7".
Yeah, I mean, you pack a bag and he fits in it.
Yep.
He is your carry-on.
At least he's cheap then.
Yeah, get Zia one of those, like a baby Bjorn, and Z can carry him around in one of those.
You know, I really want to see that in action, like on the NHL ice. Like Zadorov skates up ice and Caulfield shoots for him.
His legs are just kicking and swinging like a baby's. This has to happen now.
At least in a commercial.
Yes, at very least. Come on, Internet, make that happen.
The strongest baby daddy carrier ever.
That's right. What about you, Callie? If it's not Byram for the Avs, is it Turcotte for you?
Yeah, it's one of those two.
And it's going to be that way. The Avs may, unless Chicago goes crazy and doesn't take one of those two, then the Avs will basically kind of be in the similar spot that the Rangers. Is it the Rangers that are number 2 this year? Yes, it's the Rangers that are number 2 this year. That the Rangers are in, where they just take the one that's there. If Chicago doesn't take them, and the Avs can choose one or the other, who you like?
I gotta go Byram.
I like Bowen.
He is just the most complete defenseman. The comparisons you've had him linked to, and defenseman. If you find an elite defenseman and a second line center in the draft, you go with the elite defenseman every time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that I do think Byram is probably the best choice for the Avs at 4. I've been digging into him a lot more. I like the way he skates. I like the way his vision. He's active. He constantly shows up all over the place. I was watching a lot of stuff from his season in Vancouver, and he's up top. He's in the slot. He's down low. He's everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Not afraid to play a physical game. About my only worry with him is that Vancouver leans on him so heavily that you worry slightly that they might burn a little bit of him out before he even gets there. But at the same time, he's also 18, so
yeah,
let him play as much minutes as he wants.
Can never be too bad to have an 18-year-old kid. Prospect playing that much, playing as much as he does. Not a bad thing. 16 is man. There's a lot of options there.
There's also a lot of who's going to be left at that point.
Very true.
To use a Nuggets term, they could get a Michael Porter Jr., a guy that everyone's passing up.
Cale Makar.
I point out the name I'm pulling, Vasily Podkolzin. You're not going to see him for 2 years.
Nope.
Because he's signed in the KHL.
Yep.
And that's not he might be ready after 1 year of the NCAA and you sign him. That's right. No. 2 years guaranteed.
You physically cannot actually sign him until then.
And there's a bunch of there's some teams that might be nervous about that. And so it might, if he could drop to 16, that's where I go.
That would be quite a drop.
Maybe there's a guy like Zegras who falls. The guy I really like, I watched him in the recent tournament, Moritz Seider. He's a German defenseman who's about Eric Johnson's size and plays like Eric Johnson. And Grubauer needs another German. We need to get a German friend for Grubauer.
The Germans?
Hey, everyone needs a German friend.
That way, if you just need someone to scream at you, you just ask them to speak to you in German. Say literally anything, and just have them scream at you. You could just say, hey, could you get me a cup of coffee? But if you say it in German, it sounds like...
So aggressive.
Jawohl.
Yeah.
I didn't need... Okay, I don't need the coffee anymore. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry,
wow.
geez.
That was great.
Thanks. Can you hold the attitude?
Some of the guys that appear around the Avs in all these, in like the mocks or in the rankings at 16 are guys like Arthur Kaliev, Raphael Lavoie, Philip Broberg, Alex Newhook, Thomas Harley, Cam York, Ville Heinola. I can't finish. Can't really see. Moritz Seider. You said Seider. Those are some of the names that show up there. And and as every year it always happens in the draft. Basically, once you get past that first big tier, that's very clearly the ones that separated. All bets are off. You have no friggin' idea who's going where.
Yeah.
I mean, even the best in the business don't know who's going where.
It just, I mean, and trades, of course, happen, which throws everything else off. Someone decides they need to overvalue a defenseman, Minnesota, and pick something, pick something up there that doesn't that makes everyone go what.
I'm wondering if Minnesota just drafts Zach Parise again this year.
Seems legit.
No, they're going to draft Phil Kessel.
A two-level contract, and it actually saves us money.
Man. And a lot of these are interesting names. Arthur Kaliev's interesting because he puts up a gajillion points, but the scouting report on him is he's a one-dimensional dude. Don't expect defense. He'll shoot first, second, third, fourth, and then consider asking a question. But you're getting pretty much one zone of ice from him. The defensemen are all question marks there because they just are all kind of in that same tier after Bowen Byram. What are you going to that's where you're also starting to look for guys that maybe are coming from not traditional areas. That's kind of where I kind of end up looking at Alex Newhook.
Mm-hmm. I love Alex Newhook.
Amazingly huge numbers. Caveat, of course, being BCHL. So it's definitely a lower tier league. He's clearly better than everybody there, but at the same time, he's I mean, it's not his fault. He's committed to Boston College, I believe.
Yeah, it wasn't Cale Makar BCHL.
Cale Makar was Alberta Junior Hockey League, but same sort of thing. Oh. Junior A. Junior A went to so that that's the route that the Canadian kids who plan on attending college go. Tyson Jost was BCHL. Penticton V's out there, and Newhook has all the makings like you were talking about of that second line center that plays 200 feet. My favorite quote on him, where'd it go? Oh, damn it. Now I got to find it again. My favorite quote on him from Dauber Prospects was, "Speed for days and the disregard for safety to use it anywhere." Doesn't care what he gets into. He just goes for it. Dangerous hands, good hockey sense, and is equally deadly with the pass or the shot. Already a strong defensive player. But boom. Yeah, he had over 100 points in 53 games in the BCHL this year.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, why not give it a shot if you already have your first overall or first pick locked in? This is just kind of a gimme second pick.
Yeah, and legitimately don't get so. I caution fans to get so typecast into, we have a gap at the second line center. We need to get a second line center. That's exactly what we need, and we can only look at a center. Well, I'm being a little facetious here, but then you're going to say, no, we don't need Kapikako. We need a second-line center. Don't just take the best player available because these, especially from 3 on down, they're like 2 years away.
Yeah.
And that's been Joe Sakic's philosophy for a long time.
When their draft started improving, that they just started taking best player available and
knowing that they were going to need to progress.
Gets so mad.
Yeah.
It basically you just take a shotgun approach to the entire draft.
Yeah.
And kids develop differently. They go into different programs. Some of them develop quickly. Some of them take a longer time. You also have, in the span of 2 years, you have 2 free agency classes, 2 trade deadlines. You have 2 full seasons of development for Tyson Jost, possibly Alex Kerfoot.
Yep.
JT Comfer.
Yep.
Shane Bowers. That's 2 years of planning. You have an expansion draft that goes in there.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. I mean, about the only thing that I can see that I would not like out of the Avs in the first round is if they selected 2 defensemen. I would not like that.
At the same point, I wouldn't. I mean, it's almost embarrassment of riches, and Nashville's kind of shown how special that can be to have.
Yes. Indeed, they have. But yeah, I mean, I guess Newhook's kind of the guy that I look at 16 that sticks out and seems to fall in that. I mean, because the Avs have not been shy about the junior A guys out of Canada that are going to play college.
Mm-hmm. And I'm still of the opinion you either go forward defenseman or defenseman forward.
Yeah.
That I don't even really look at Spencer Martin.
Yeah.
That's something.
Spencer Knight.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I was like, wait a minute.
I mean,
Spencer
we're not
Martin.
really looking at Spencer Martin either.
That's very true.
I mean, to be fair, nobody's looking at Spencer Martin.
They tried so hard to get rid of him, though.
In any case, I don't. I was listening to a podcast, might have actually been the BSN podcast, where they talked about if you draft Spencer Martin, if you draft Spencer Knight, it's with the thought that he's your starter in the next 2 to 3 years, or at least that's the plan, and that doesn't exactly communicate really well with Grubauer, and you already have. You have enough prospects in the line that you don't have to take a goaltender in the first round.
Agreed. And Avs just signed Adam Werner to his entry-level contract, 22 years old. He's been making progress in the Swedish league and is going to likely fight for some time in Loveland next year. Probably.
And I mean, obviously next year, Joe Sakic's going to sign Lauren Brassard. Like, duh.
Of course.
Duh.
Well,
Callie's
he's going to have to fit that in with Chris Kreider already being here.
It'll work.
We'll make it happen.
It'll work. I feel like we're Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny. He's got all the strings attached.
It'll work.
No biggie. No biggie. It's good. Right on. Well, any other thoughts to mention, to bring out about the draft at all?
Not really. Just I really hope they don't draft Spencer Martin.
I hope so too. Oh man, yeah. No, I mean, I think we've talked about it a lot. The Avs drafting has improved so much over the past several years, where and you really especially start seeing it where they started going away from their seeming love affair with the QMJHL, and really just started finding where the best players were, wherever they happened to be.
Yeah, they went to their spice cabinet and started pulling things other than garlic salt.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because, I mean, we saw it since I think really 2016 was about where it started going that direction, where you saw Tyson Jost, who is BCHL, then Cam Morrison was USHL. Both of them went the college route. Then they got Josh Anderson from the Dub, then Adam Werner from Sweden, Nathan Klerman out of high school in Minnesota, Travis Barron from the OHL. I mean, they're going to go all over the place. Then they've got...
He's turning pro this year. He's going to be with Loveland.
Yes, indeed. Cale Makar, again, from the AJHL. OHL with Connor Timmins. WHL with Nick Henry. Czech Juniors with Kovacha. Unfortunate that he's just not really done much. Russian Juniors with Igor. The... Big Ten with more college with Dennis Smirnov, more Minnesota high school with Nick Lieberman.
Who's now in Notre Dame.
Yep. Czech Junior League, Czech leagues with Martin Kaut, Finnish juniors for Justus Annunen, USHL again for Sampo Ranta, who's now in college. Tyler Weiss, same thing, who's now in college. He was at the national development team though. OHL with Brandon Sagan. Then they went to the Russian juniors for the next 3 picks. They're just, I mean, they're all over the place.
And Brandon Sagan he almost got a contract.
Holy crap, have they not signed him yet? Seriously, sign that guy.
Yes, sign him now.
What is the wait on Brandon Sagan signing him? I do not know because had another huge year, 92 points in the OHL over 68 games.
And I'm also really excited for Kovalenko. He can't get over here quick enough.
Lots of good stuff happening in the Avs system here. I'm looking forward to another draft here. Any other thoughts?
Just that Kevin's a total turd.
Yep, 100%.
And, hopefully no Gabriel Bork.
Hopefully no Gabriel Bork, and extend JT Compher for 200 years.
Yes. Forever.
Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
For all the monies.
All the monies. I was just about to say that.
We've been doing this too long.
Right on.
Not long enough.
What's that?
Or not long enough. We're just catching our stride.
That's right. That's right. Wow. Right on. Well, again, a very happy birthday to you, Callie.
Thank you.
Hopefully it was wonderful.
Yes.
Marvelous. I'm sorry I'm a turd.
You're a total turd.
I'm sorry I'm a total turd.
It's okay. I'll just post it on Twitter for like a week.
Okay. I feel like I should change. I will change my handle for a week.
Yes.
For you.
And then after that, you'll be less of a turd.
Fair enough. I will do that probably before I go to bed. We'll see if I remember. I'll get it in there. If I forget, remind me, and I'll do it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for sticking around for the hour and a half that we've been going on. Appreciate it. Appreciate you listening to the Burgundy Brigade podcast. We'll be back closer to the draft. It's nice when you do these and with a team that's not out in April, like out of the discussion in February, and the draft. The time between now and the draft is not that far.
Nope, it'll be here before you know it.
That's right. It's already almost June, folks. Hey.
I know. I'm almost 31.
Poor baby. I'm almost 40, so,
Let's say, how is 31? I need to know. Do you remember it?
It was better than 30.
Do you start getting aches and pains then?
I'm getting...
I've been having aches and pains since I started this podcast.
Man, I'm... Woof. I'm getting it today.
You're the oldest, and we're all both the youngest.
Yeah, whatever.
Funny how that works.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
It will last forever, because we'll always be the youngest.
Just like JT Compher's contract.
That's right.
It's going to be forever.
Forever.
What if he signs a 37-year contract?
I would die.
That would be... that would be very interesting, given the current collective bargaining agreement. But yes... We'll make it happen. Make it happen, Joe.
For $37 million.
37 years for $37 million.
Duh.
I'll take that cap hit.
And then he'll change his number to 90.
God. And be traded. No.
No, I will punch you in the face.
I rescind that remark.
Yep, you better.
I better get out of here soon before too much more happens.
I was going to say, someone's going to die.
End it. We're just going to end it. Thank you for listening to the Burgundy Brigade podcast. I'm going to get out of here before something bad happens to me. Have a fantastic day, night, evening. We will talk to you later, Avs fans.
Bye.